So what do you think, like, again, I work with a lot of different media buyers and I hear a lot of different things and may not agree with everything, but I have, a lot of media buyers who are like, just go broad, no, like, but
Yeah.
don't like, no, like just go broad. There's no exclusions, nothing. And you're saying to obviously add in those exclusions to make it super cold traffic, or you have the people who are like, just put everything on Advantage Plus and let the algorithm do the job. And so again, like there's things where when I come in and I look at a creative and we put it into a creative, let's just say it's in an Advantage Plus shopping campaign. It's like, okay, yes, this is happening. And one ad is doing really good. But then, in a week, all my ads are doing terrible, but only one is obviously doing good because the algorithm is putting spend towards that one. So everyone is trained to be like, okay, well, this is the only one that's working. And it's like, well, no, there's actually probably a lot that could work, but we need to like be more exclusive in what we're actually putting into our campaign. But like, how do you go about that when like all these people are like, only go broad and only do Advantage Plus?
In my opinion, when you only go broad and when you only go Advantage Plus, the media buyer is not needed anymore. There is no media buying at all, actually, at that point in time. It's literally Meta. You find the audiences and you remarket the audiences and you go after all the website traffic you want and just do your thing. Like it's literally not a strategy. It's actually the anti-strategy. It is no strategy. The reason why broad works, especially for larger companies, is because you have an immense amount of traffic already on the site. And Meta is watching all of that. That's why the pixel is so important.
Mm-hmm.
So Meta watches all that. So if you have an influencer that brought 10,000 people to the site, broad is going to go show ads to them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because it can go anywhere and because it can target anybody, it will retarget all of that website traffic and then claim an engaged view conversion, not even a click attributed conversion. All it has to do is say, were you on the site? Yeah. Do you see an ad? Yeah. Did you buy? Yeah. Meta did that. And it had nothing to do with Meta at all. So what's crazy about it is broad works because it can take advantage of all the other traffic. And that's where it is even less about creative and more so the right person at the right time, regardless of the message. And that's where you will hit walls on creative. And that's where Meta will take all the money. And that's where it will just attribute to itself the best it can possibly show. Meta wants you to do that. If Meta says, no, allow me to show anybody any ad at any time that I think I can get a conversion, Meta wins. Creative fails. Traffic is not existent. There is no traffic strategy there. And that's why it won't scale. And that's why the majority of people, when you said, I know a lot of media buyers, they all say, I'll go broad. And they all say, I'll use the algorithm. That came right after my initial comment of everybody in the industry says I can't scale.
So true. I know. I get like calls where people are like, yeah, my media buyer can't scale. Like we need more creative. And I'm like, I don't think it has anything to do with that, but okay.
Can you talk a little bit about like the economics of broad versus this more exclusionary tactic?
Yeah.
Like, is it like a 10% increase? Like, is it worth my time?
To go broad or to do an exclusion?
To go from broad to this a lot more hands-on, setting up all these exclusions and stages.
Yeah, broad will definitely look better. But it didn't do anything. It didn't start the journey. So here's the best thing. Broad captures demand. An exclusion campaign with structure generates demand. And that is the main core difference. Broad captures demand. Yeah, there's people on your site. They saw you organically. They saw you on YouTube once. A friend told them about them. They visited you in store, and now they're looking at your meta pages, or they got an email blast from cold. That will capture demand. Existing half-warm people will then be remarketed to. But when you put more ad spend into a finite audience, your frequency goes up or bad traffic goes up, and it doesn't actually generate more revenue because it's only capturing demand. You can't scale the capturing of demand. You run out of ad spend. Now, in a structure, you're generating demand. You're actually purposely introducing yourself to new cold traffic. You're telling a story. You're developing value. You're developing a unique value proposition, unique selling proposition. You're developing the customer trust. You're actually building a brand awareness, and you're actually starting to penetrate a market audience. And that is what is then scalable. That is generating demand. So broad captures, exclusion campaigns generate. And that is the main core differences that businesses do. A media buyer that goes broad and does no exclusions is, I call them the company hitman. You're spending more on the people that are going to buy you anyway, and they're getting paid to do so. So you're getting paid to hurt a company. And that's where I think that this really starts to break down. Then poor people like Lauren are generating the most amazing creative that they can. But then Meta shows it to a person that already has $1,000 of items added to their cart. And now Lauren doesn't actually have any direction of did it really work or not, or did it simply capture demand that day? And that's where you're probably seeing, well, that ad worked. I built something just like it, and then it failed. That's because the warm traffic wasn't there. Why? Well, they didn't run an email campaign this week. Why? Well, the influencer didn't run this week. Oh,
Yeah.
so traffic. That's where traffic and creative are so synergistic. One can be great, one can be bad. Most of the time, they're not on the same page.
Right. Definitely. And I think, like, again, for us, like, I work very, very closely with all my media buyers for that reason. Not to say that I don't trust them, but it's more so just, I need to make sure that I know what's going on, because I don't want to get blamed for something that it's not necessarily, like, it's nobody's fault, but at the same time, it's like, but it's not always my fault.
You're like, I built a Ferrari engine. Is this going into a Ferrari, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's going to a bicycle. Oh God. Yeah, it's super, super, super important. And the horrible part about this is I have a really weird outlook on this. This has never changed. The algorithms just got too powerful. That's all it did. The algorithm, it's almost like be careful what you wish for. You really can be careful what you wish for. If you go and ask Meta, hey, don't exclude anybody and give me all the conversions that they can. Oh, they will. Won't be for the right audience. Maybe not the right audiences that you want, but it'll do it. Same thing with Google. That's why Performance Max only has maximized conversions or maximized conversion value bidding strategies. There is no awareness in Performance Max. So what does it do? It shows most of the time to your branded traffic and the people who are already on your site or your existing customers. Why? Those are cheap. CPA is low. ROAS is fantastic. This person's going to buy another $1,000 item from you this week. All I have to do is show them a 2-cent display ad. A billion ROAS. And so that's where when I started to understand years ago how these algorithms actually work by looking at data like this, I'm like, holy crap, everyone has no idea that they're being sabotaged at the will of the traffic delivery system, which is Meta and Google primarily.
So if I were to think of this a different way, these go broad, ASE, Performance Max, they start at the bottom of the funnel, then try to work up. But we're talking about to scale, you have to exclude all of that and do the hard thing of going to find new people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you ask a business, how would you grow? The first thing we would do is, well, we'd have to get the name. We'd have to get the name out. We have to get the awareness out. We have to start to look at how to showcase ourselves to cold traffic. And then when they deliver that task to the media buyer and or the creative people, they go show it to everyone that already knows about them because it has the best ROAS and shows the most conversions. And that's where those two people will never see eye to eye through no fault of their own.